At the end of this 30-minute video, you will have learned Flutter. Okay, so this is the second time I record this video, because the first time in 30 minutes I was only able to go through the 3 steps. But we really need to go through the 7th step in order to learn Flutter in 30 minutes. So we will go a little bit faster this time. So what we will do is, first, you have your main.dart. Inside the library, you have the main.dart. So what we'll do is, we will restart the application. This is the application you have. I currently have the latest Flutter version. So if I say Flutter Doctor, you will see which version I have. It's the 3.13.9. Okay, so this is the latest version. That's done. Next thing we will need to do is inside the main.dart, we will remove all the comments. So let's delete this and let's delete this also. Okay, so we have only 30 minutes. So that's why I'm very, very stressed right now. But so we'll delete all of this. From 22 till the end, we'll delete all of this. So we will start from absolute scratch. Okay, so this is the application you should have, and this is what we will build. So let's start with number 1, the basic stuff. So the scaffold, the AppBar, material app, and all these things. We will start with the scaffold. Okay, so what we'll do is first we'll need to create a class called, by example, the home page that will extend the stateless widget. The difference between the stateless widget and the stateful widget is, do you want to refresh your screen? By example, if I click on the plus sign like this, the screen refresh with the new numbers. So you need to refresh the screen, which means you need to use the stateful widget. If you use the stateless widget, it means that the screen will never refresh. All right, that's about it. So we will create, for now, a stateless widget. You can always change it later, but for now, we don't need it. So we will just create a stateless widget. For this, you will say STL. So if you write STL, you will have the option Flutter stateless widget or Flutter stateful widget. Because we don't want to refresh the screen for now, we will use the stateless widget and we can change this later. So for this course, I will say things only once, okay? If I have to repeat, I will waste way too many time. So that's about it. So let's start the 30-minute countdown right now. All right, so we have 30 minutes for this. So class, what we will do is we'll call this the home page. Okay, it's a stateless widget. After this, I need to recall also this one, so home page. And what we'll do is, instead of the placeholder, we'll use a scaffold widget. But first, I want to show you what happens if we just have the placeholder. So we'll replace, in the home, we will replace this for the class that we just created, the home page. So we have home page. All right, so later we'll talk about the material app, but for now, we will start with the scaffold, after the AppBar and after the material app. Okay, so we have the scaffold. So if we refresh the application, you will see that we have a black screen. And right now we have it. Perfect. So we will replace the placeholder with the scaffold widget. The scaffold widget is the skeleton of your application, okay? So this is where everything will be built up one over the other. So if I refresh the screen, you will see that right now we have the white screen, and this is the scaffold, the skeleton of our application. Next. What we want to do is to add an AppBar, okay? So we have AppBar right there. The AppBar is what is on the top of the application that displays the title and stuff like this. So let's build this. Flutter is very simple. And again, keep attention because I will repeat things only 0 times because I will say it once and I will never repeat. All right, so we have the scaffold. Flutter is widget inside widget inside widget inside widget, okay? And the goal is to create one widget, put another widget over, put another widget over, and at the end, we'll have an application. So this is what we will do right now. Inside the scaffold, we have something called the arguments. To see which argument you have inside one widget, you press Control space. And this will give you all the argument available inside. For now, we just want the AppBar argument. And Flutter is very simple, it's widget inside widget inside widget. In order to put another widget inside another one, you put the scaffold, you put an argument, and then you put another widget. It's very nested, one inside the other. Okay, after this, another thing you need to understand is widgets always start with a capital letter, and the arguments always start with a lowercase letter. That's about it. Let's do it right now. So we will put an AppBar widget, okay, like this, and the AppBar, if you go over, so when you have a red line, this is an error, and to solve an error, it's very simple, you go over, and you will see what is the error. Sometimes it's at the top and sometimes it's at the bottom, okay? So right now, the constructor being called isn't a const constructor, okay? What is a const? A const is a constant, something that will never change and will always be the same. So for now, because we use the AppBar, this is not a constant. So we will remove it before on the widget 3. And you can see that now we don't have an error anymore. If we save, you will see that nothing happened on the screen. The reason is we need to put actually a title inside the inside this AppBar. So we'll press Control space in order to have all the arguments, and we'll say title. The title will require another widget. And the widget we'll use is the text widget. So let's use this one. We will say text, like this, boom. And inside the text widget, if you wonder what we need to put inside a widget, you go over and you will see that the text widget will require a string data. A string is only some words. So you will say this is the title, okay? And now you have the blue line. Again, I will repeat things never. So keep really attention. So I will go over it and you will see that this tells us use the constant because the text will never change. It will always be the same. So we need to put a constant in this case. I will put my comma. So every time you have two brackets back to back, you need to put a comma. And when you right click and format document, or I use the command Shift-Alt-F, when you use format document, is it this one? Yeah, Shift-Alt-F. This will restructure the code and it will be better to see. All right, so if we save, now you will see that we have the title. This is the title. But you can also change the color of the app bar by saying color in the argument. So you say color and you will have the background color. This is the good one. So you will use this one. And next you will use the widget colors dot and you will use any color you want. So we'll use red and I will save. All right, so that's about it. The next thing we need to learn is, so we have the app bar material app. Let's talk about this. What is the material app? This one is what handle the theme inside your application and a little bit more stuff, okay? By example, the title, we won't talk about this because this is pretty useless, but the theme is one of the most cool thing inside the material app. And after this, inside we have the home argument, which redirect inside the application. So the actual thing that we will build, which start with the scaffold, okay? So we have the theme data. The theme data will have the color scheme, and the color scheme currently is deep purple. We will keep it deep purple, and you will see later inside this course of 30 minutes that when we will use a button, the button will have a color purple. So we will talk about this later. After this, with Flutter right now, it starts with the material 3 as true. Material 3 just means that it's the latest Android 12 version. So it's the look of the application, okay? So you can see my app is currently bugging right now, so I will just restart by clicking this. Perfect. So now it's fine. The next thing we want to do is, you see the little banner at the top, debug, it's pretty ugly. So we will remove this thing. So what we'll do is we'll go inside the material app and we'll say debug show check mode banner. And as default, if you go over, you will see that this is true. So we can see it. So what we'll do is we'll say false instead. If it's false, now it's not visible anymore. Okay, another thing we want to learn is how to use colors, okay? Maybe we want to change the style, we want to change the text style of a text. Currently the text is, this is the title. So we'll change the text style. So what we'll do is we'll go inside the text, and in the text we'll put a comma, and we'll go inside the arguments. So control space. And the argument we'll use is style. So for this, we'll use a widget, text style, and the text style widget, because we have two bracket one after the other, I will put my comma, format document, and now it's better. For the text style, we can use the argument color and use colors dot maybe white. Okay, this will change the color of the text. You can see. After this, we will change the font weight. The font weight, you can use the font weight dot bold, normal, W100 or 900. This is the boldest possible, and this is the tiniest possible. So we'll use bold for now. Okay, let's save. You can see the title is, oops, I will restart the app. So when you save or hot reload, sometimes it won't work. So you just have to click hot reload. Otherwise, you can just use this and it will just refresh the screen. Great, so now it's bold. After this, what we can do is we can change the font size. So, oops, font size, and we'll put, by example, 12. So if I put 12 and I save, you see the title is really, really small right now. So we will put 30 instead. Great, so this is done. After this, what we need to do is we have done this image, how to put an image inside your application. So what we'll do is, okay, we have this Einstein. Let's go on image, and what we'll do is we'll take the most iconic image of Einstein, right click, and open image in a new tab. All right, so if you have the image in a new tab, and you just need to verify at the end if it's bullshit. So you can see this URL is pretty bullshit. So what I will do is I will take another one. I will take maybe this one. Let's take this one. So I'll say open in a new tab. I'll take this one, and is this one also bullshit? Pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty bullshit. So what we'll do is we'll try to find an image that is not bullshit. So if I click on this one and I say right click, open in a new tab, and I got this one, you see this is pretty nice because it end up with GPG, or if it end up with PNG or stuff like this, things you understand and recognize. So I will use this one. Perfect, that's fine. Next, we'll need to put the image inside the application. So for this, we'll need to go inside the body of the app instead of the app bar of the app. All right, so we have the app bar. Inside, we'll put the body argument, and in the body argument, we'll use the image.network, okay? Keep in mind that you could use also the asset. This means if your image is inside your project, all right? Perfect. Okay, so if your image is inside the project, you will use the asset. Otherwise, you will use the network. So we will use network for this one because we use the image from the internet. All right, so we'll paste the URL and we will save. This image will be right there. That's pretty nice. After this, we can change the height of the image. So we can say height, change the argument, and say maybe the height 150. I will save format document, and now it's fine. Great, we have an image inside your application. The next thing we want to do is the center. So how do we put the image inside the center of the application? So what we'll do is we'll go over the image, we'll right click, and we'll say refactor. So you can say refactor, and then you can wrap with multiple widget, the basic widget, and wrap with a different widget. But for now, we'll use the center widget. I will save. When I press Ctrl S, this automatically refresh the screen. But if it don't refresh for you, you just need to click on this little save and hot reload. Great. So we have the image in the center. That's a new widget learned. That's about it. Column. How do we put multiple widgets one over the other? So maybe you wonder, okay, so how do I put two images one after the other? Maybe you think, okay, I will take the center body and I will paste it right under like this. But this doesn't work. It's not like that with Flutter. So you will Control Z, and instead what you will do is you will wrap the center widget, so refactor, right click, refactor, and wrap with a column. Great. So you can see that there is two things. The center have an argument called the child, and the child just mean that you can put one widget inside. The column have an argument called the children. The children mean that you can put a list. This is a list, okay, of multiple widgets. Perfect. So now you can put another center widget and just paste it right after. Perfect. So now you have one image over the other. Okay, maybe you wonder why this is not in the center anymore. Okay, what about you take the column and you refactor and you put it inside the center? What will happen? So nothing happened, and the reason is the column take as much height as possible. So you could do inside the column, you could say the main axis size dot minimum, like this, and now it will be in the center. But there's multiple possible way to put this in the center. So I will Control Z to remove the column, the center, and in the column instead, if I save, now you see it's on the top, you could use instead the main axis alignment dot center, and this will also put it in the center. All right, so this was about the column. Now let's talk about the row. The row is the same thing as the column, but it's horizontal instead of vertical. So let's do this. Let's do the same thing right there. I will use the row widget. Inside we use the children, just like the column, because we need to put multiple widgets inside. I will put my comma for my document. That's great. And now I will put this widget. I will put it right inside twice. So if we save, now you can see that we have a row and we have a column. So we have the column, inside we have a row of two images. Great. What next we want to learn? Okay, what happens if I put multiple images? Okay, so if I put like 5 of them and I save, you will see that we have a problem. The problem is we don't have enough place on the screen to display all the image. So what you can do instead, you can use the wrap widget. The wrap widget will automatically put the other image right under. So if I save, you will see that, okay, we still have a problem. Where did I put this one? Okay, wrap. Okay, so we have a problem with the height. So this is not scrollable anymore. This is another thing I want to show you, is the single child scroll view. Okay, so we will wrap the column like this. I will say refactor, boom, and I will say wrap with a widget. So this one will be the single child scroll view. All right, so the single child scroll view will allow you to scroll inside your application. That's fine. But what happened with the wrap widget? Okay, what I wanted to show you is what we will do instead. We'll take just the image, okay, and I will delete all the center like this. I will remove this and I will put like 1, 2, 3, 4 image, and let's save. Now you can see that everything enter in the screen, but what if we put a fifth one? Boom, you have the other image right under. The wrap widget will automatically put the last thing at the bottom. Okay, this is pretty cool. Next, after this, we have the icon. How do we put an icon inside your application? All right, we will go inside the application bar. So the app bar, we have the title, and right under we have another argument called the action. The action is all the thing that will be at the end of the app bar. Let me take a little bit of tea. All right. So inside the action, we need to put the icon. So the icon is a simple icon widget. The icon is pretty funky, okay? So what we'll need to do is we put the icon. If you go over, you will see that this will require an icon data. The icon data, you can use the same thing as the color. You remember the colors will take colors with the S, so you will do the same thing. You will say icons with the S, and then you will put anything. So let's put Wi-Fi, by example. All right, so we have the blue line, and this tells us we need to put a constant. So I will put just a constant before the list. All right, save. I will put my comma right there because we have two brackets. So now we have an image. We have an icon. The icon, you can change the color of it. If you put the comma and go inside the arguments, you will say colors and colors.white. Boom, like this. Comma, save. Great. So that's fine. Let's go back inside what we need to learn. And color, we have already talked about it. Now container. How do we use a container? Okay, so what we'll do is I will go right under the image and I will use a container. So I will say container. I will say the height will be, my example, I don't know, 150, and the width will be also 150. So let's save. You will see that nothing happened. Okay, that's fine. After this, but what happened if I put it just before? If I cut this and I put it before, you will see now there is an empty space like this. This is the space, the container is pretty empty. Right now, the application tells me that we need to use a size box instead. So we will say quick fix. Okay, so if you scroll inside the error, you say quick fix and you will say replace with a size box. The size box, the difference is you have less argument inside. You can see we have only the child and the key after. So Flutter will tell us we need to use the size box if we don't use, by example, the color inside the container. So we'll put a constant. All right. Next, we will put back the container because I want to show you more things with the container. The container doesn't take the constant, so we will remove it. And now the container tells us that we need to replace with size box. But the container, Flutter doesn't know right now that we need to put a color. So as soon as we put the colors for red, by example, now you see that we don't have the blue line. And this is the color of the container. All right, so that's about it for the container. Another thing I want to show you is the padding, margin, and double dot infinity. Okay, so what about you want the width to be exactly the size of the screen? So the width, you will say double dot infinity, like this. Boom. This will take the entire width of the screen. But what if you do the same thing with the height? This will create a problem, okay? Double dot infinity. If I save, you will see that I will need to restart the application. And now if I go inside the Control-G, and I take inside my output debug console, you see that we have multiple problems. The thing is, we are inside a column that is scrollable for infinity, okay? And right now we tell Flutter that we want also the height to be infinity. So it's like a double infinity that doesn't work, so you can do that. Great. So I will remove this. I will say the height is 150. Let's save, and now I will restart the application. Great, we have talked about this. Now we need to talk about the padding. So I will say padding. I will say the padding, if you go over, it will take edge and sets. So you will put edge and set, and if you put the edge and sets.all, the padding will be applied all the borders of the container. So we'll say this, and I will say 10.0, and I will save. I will put this as a constant, and I will also restart the application. Okay, so the padding, what happened with the padding? Currently, you see nothing really happened, but we have some sort of padding just inside, okay? So if I put another container inside the container, so I will put a child. The child is just to be able to put another thing inside, another widget, and I will paste the same container. I will save, but the other one, we will put it as yellow, like this. So now you can see that the other container, the first one, have a padding of 10. If we put 20, like this, boom, we have a padding of 20. But what if we want to put a margin? You can put a margin instead. If you put the margin, you will see that the difference is the margin is from the external from the container, all right? So if I put also maybe another margin inside this one, I will copy this. This is how it looks. So let's save, let's restart it. Perfect. Okay, so that's about it. Next, what we want to talk about, size box we have done it. Difficulty was 3 out of 10. So this was supposed to be pretty simple. Next, we want to learn how to create buttons inside your application. So let's do this right now. Okay, so let's delete a couple of things. We have the image. I will delete all of these. Boom, like this. Save. Great. So now let's add a button. We will add the button inside the container. So I will go inside the yellow container, or maybe inside the white container, doesn't matter. So I will remove the yellow container, and instead I will say the elevated button. like this. The onPress argument will require a function. So a function is just like this. This is an empty function, nothing inside, but we will work on this later. After this, the child, we need to put something. So we'll put a simple text widget, and the text will be click me if you dare. Oh my god, the time is going so fast. All right, so I will put this and I will save. Great, so this will be a constant and I will save. You can see that right now the button is gigantic. So what we'll do instead is I will just remove all the button from inside the container like this, and I will just put the button, put my comma, save, click me if you dare. So this is the button. And now the button is purple because if you go back and you remember, inside the color scheme, we have the deep purple. But instead we will say red. So if we say red instead, you see that now the button is red. Great. Next thing we want to do is there is multiple things of buttons. So you can change it for, by example, the text button. Oops, text button. And also, if I save, you will see this is a text button. If the application restart somehow, one day, so long, come on, perfect. All right, so that's great. After this, we'll take this and we will use instead the icon button. You have another option. Oops, back, Control Y. Okay, so we have also the icon button. Great, boom, like this. OnPress will be a simple empty function, and the icon, Jesus, come on. Okay, and the icon will be icons dot, I don't know, click or something, add click, perfect. So I'll put my comma, save, format document, and I will put the constant, great, that's fine. Okay, so when you click on it, it's not a button. So now this is clickable. But what if you want to change the text for something else? Or maybe you want to change the background color for another color when you click on the button. Okay, what about this? So we'll do this right now. This will create some sort of logic, and now we are on the section 3 functions. All right, so let's do this right now. What we'll create is, one thing I need to tell you, if you put the variable after the build, every time the widget will, the build will rebuild. So every time the screen will change, this will rebuild the variable. So you need to put the variable actually before the override and before the build in order to make sure that the variable doesn't rebuild every time. So what we will do is we'll say, by example, color and background color, I don't know, background color is equal to colors.red. And then what we can do is, you can see that now we have a problem, and the problem is we need to put this as a stateful widget. Okay, so what I will do is I will go over and I will right click and I will say refactor, and I will put this as a stateful widget. The reason is because right now when we click the button, we want to refresh the screen with a new color. Okay, so that's why we'll use this. After this, we have the background color, and now what we'll say is, we'll say, I don't know, we'll create a boolean is first is equal to true. So it will be is first if, or it's red, maybe. I don't know, we don't care. So is red, it's true, perfect. After this, what we need to do is we need to create some sort of logic. So we'll go inside the elevated button, okay? Text button, I will change this so now we can see the difference. Okay, inside the onPress, we'll say is red is equal to the invert of is red. So if it's true, then it will be false. If it's false, then it will be true. And then we can create some sort of condition. If I go up, background, I will call this background red color, and the other one, I will call it the background white color. Okay, this one will be white. Great. After this, we can go inside the scaffold, and in the scaffold, we have an argument called the background color. That's perfect. And now we will create a condition. Let me show you how to do this. You will say is red. So this is either true or false. So if it's true, then display the background red color. Otherwise, display the background white color. Perfect. So if we save, now you will see that when we click on the button, nothing happened. And the reason is, because we are inside a stateful widget, we need to actually tell Flutter, okay, I want to refresh the screen with the new data. So you will go inside the elevated button onPress function, and you will say setState. You will call the setState. The setState will refresh the screen with the new data. So you need to put the data inside, and you save. So now if we restart the application, you will see that when we start, the background is red, and when you click on click me if you dare, boom, it's white. And now we can change it forever, and that's about it. Okay, so next thing we want to learn is we have learned this, change the button color. Ladies and gentlemen, we experience some difference. This one is pretty long to explain, and in 7 minutes, maybe we will not have time, but we will try to do it at the end if we still have time, which is probably never will happen. But anyway, so let's do right now the number 5. Open a new page. Okay, so how do we open a new page? What we'll do is we'll go inside the library and we'll create a new page. We'll say new file and we'll call this the new page.dart. Great. So we'll call this, first we need to import the material app, we need to import the Flutter material.dart. This will import all the widgets. Okay, after this we need to create a stateless widget. So you will say STL, so you will say stateless widget, we'll call this the new page. Great. Inside this new page, what we'll do is we'll put a simple scaffold, we will put an appbar argument with the appbar, and inside we'll use a title argument with the text new page. Great, this is very basic stuff. After this, we will remove the constant because Flutter will tell us to remove the constant, and we will add it back before the text. Okay, this was super fast. Next, we'll go inside the main, and inside the main, we'll use the second button, which is the text button, and we'll replace this to go to the next page. Great. Like this. So how do we go to the next page? Okay, what we'll do is first I will replace the isRed to false. So right now, every time we restart the application, it will always be white before, and now we can see the button actually. Great. After this, you will need to go inside the text button, the function, and you will say Navigator dot of context. And then, or actually, we'll do it simpler. We'll say Navigator dot push. We will push another page over this one. Okay, so we have the context. Next, we have the route. So you will need to say material page route, and the material page route will just display another route inside the navigator. Okay, the builder you will delete and you will press Control Space. This will give you what you need to put. So the context with a function. So you will click this, and then the function will return the new page. So you will say new page like this. Boom. And you will put the semicolon. You will see that when you put the new page, this will automatically import the Flutter tutorial new page. The new page is this one, okay? So now you have access to this page and you can be able to navigate through this new page. After this, you have an error, so you put the semicolon. You have two brackets, you will put the comma before, you will format document, save. This will tell you to put a constant because it's a content. And now you can save. Now, if you click on go to the next page, boom, it will automatically put you inside the new page, which is pretty cool. So you can navigate inside your application. The application will automatically give you the option to go back. You can change it if you want, but for now it's very basic stuff, and we have only 4 minutes left. So let's do this. The next thing I want to show you is maybe you have the icon button. Let's copy this icon button and let's go inside the new page, inside the app bar. What we'll do is we will go inside the actions and we'll paste this icon button. We will change the icon color for back, this, or back arrow, I don't know, arrow back, perfect. We'll use this, and inside we'll say navigator dot pop, like this. And like this, you will save. And now you see that we have the arrow, it's the same thing as this one. And this will just pop the page, which means it will delete the page that we have created and bring us back. This is exactly what happened with this thing. And you can actually go inside the app bar and you say leading, automatically imply leading. You can put this as false. So now you don't have the arrow automatically, but you can come back with any arrows. All right. So next we need to talk about how to open a new page, send text to another page. This is pretty cool. Okay. So what happens if you want to go inside this and you want to send data from this to the other page? So what we'll do is we'll go inside the main and we'll create a variable. We will say, okay, actually we can just send the red variable. So the true or false. So what we'll do is when we navigate, we'll go inside the new page, and what we'll say is we'll go inside the constructor and we'll say required, and this will be a boolean is red. Okay, I'll put my comma, save, and now what we need to do is we need to create a final boolean. Instead, I need to say this dot red, like this. Boolean is red, and you put this like this. Okay, if you put this like this, you will say, okay, I required this information when you go inside the new page, and this information is available. You can use isRed, and now you can say, by example, isScaffold. You can say background color, and you can say if it's red, question mark. So if it's red, then put colors.red, otherwise put colors.white. Okay, so you will send this information from the previous page. We'll go inside the previous page, and now you see that inside the new page, you need to put an argument because it's required now. You will put isRed, and you will just put the isRed, which is coming from this information, isRed, the Boolean. All right, so now you can remove the constant, save, format document, and you can see that we have a problem. So I will restart the application, and now it's restarting. I will restart it again. That's great. So now the background is white. So if we go inside the next page is also white. We'll come back. But what if we change the color for red and we go inside the next page? Now you can see that the background is red because we send the actual information from one page to another page, which is pretty cool. All right, so the next thing we need to learn is user input. We have like 1 minute for this. So let's do some user input. We will go back in the previous page, change the color for white, and go inside this. Okay, so how do we add an user input? I will go inside the body. Inside the body, you will use the text field. The text field will require, so actually I will refactor and put this inside a column like this, and we'll have the text field, and we'll have just a simple text right under, like this. And the text will be cool for now. Great, we have this, the text field will need a controller. The controller will need to create it just at the top right there, maybe. We'll need to change this for a stateful widget, refactor, convert to stateful widget because we will refresh the screen. All right, so we have only 30 seconds left, but I will go a little bit over, maybe 1 or 2 minutes over, just to make sure that you understand how to put user inputs. This will be the craziest, fastest learning curve of Flutter of your life. Great, so after this, we need to put a controller. The controller, we don't want to rebuild it every time we change the screen, so we need to put it before the build. So we'll say the text editing controller, and we'll call this the text editing controller is equal to a text editing controller. Perfect, great. So now we can put this text editing controller inside the controller of the text field. Okay, the text now it will be instead the text editing controller dot the text information from this text field. Great. So if we save, now you should see that we have a text field. We can enter value and we can say okay. But now we need to refresh the screen with this new value in order to display the information inside the application also. So what we will do is we will create a button, by example. I will go inside the main and I will just copy this button, the text button, copy this information, go back inside the new page, and we'll put it right after the text field. And what we'll do is we will replace the onPress for a setState. So we will refresh the screen, setState like this, and we'll refresh the screen and we will say, actually just like that, it will work, okay? So we will put this like this. I will restart the application and I will show you what happened. So refresh, we'll go inside the next page. Next, what you need to say, we'll say Flutter Mapp, by example. Flutter Mapp. And when I press the go to the next page, or I click OK, blah, whatever, when I click the button, this will display the Flutter Mapp because we have the information and we have refreshed the screen with the new information, which is now Flutter Mapp. So you can use this information. This was how to learn Flutter in 30 minutes. Thank you for watching. Bye.